Part 2. Emma's Adventure in London. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy you're here today. Today I have a fun and engaging story for you. But this is not just a story, it's also a great way to improve your English. By listening to this story, you will practice your listening skills, learn new vocabulary and phrases, improve your pronunciation with shadowing. We will review some valid words and expressions at the end, so stick around until the end. Are you ready? Let's get started. Before we begin, here's how you can make the most of this video. First, listen to the story carefully and try to understand the general idea. Then, play the video again and repeat along with me. I will speak clearly and slowly, so you can follow along. Pause the video after each sentence and repeat it out loud. Try to match my pronunciation, intonation, and even emotions. If you do this exercise regularly, you'll see significant improvements in your pronunciation and fluency. All right, let's begin. Listen carefully and follow along with the story. And don't forget, after the story, we'll go over some valid words and expressions so you can learn and remember them. This is the story of a girl named Emma. She has just moved to London to start her studies. She is excited but also a little nervous. Everything is new, the city, the people, and even the way people speak English. Studying in London has always been Emma's dream. She worked hard to get into a good university. But now that she's here, things feel different. The university is huge, full of students from other countries, and a little overwhelming. On her first day of class, Emma steps into a large lecture hall. She looks around. Some students are chatting, some are looking at their laptops, and some are quietly waiting. She took a deep breath and found a seat. A girl next to her smiles. "Hi. Is this your first class?" she asks. Emma nods. "Yes. I'm Emma. I just moved here from Spain." "Nice to meet you, Emma. I'm Olivia. I'm from Canada." Olivia extends her hand, and Emma shakes it. The professor walks in, and the class begins. Emma listens carefully, but sometimes the professor speaks too fast. She writes notes quickly, trying to keep up. During a break, Olivia asks, "How's it going so far?" Emma sighs. "It's interesting, but the professor speaks fast." Olivia laughs. "Yeah, British professors do that. But don't worry, you'll get used to it." Emma feels a little better. It's nice to have someone to talk to. Later in the afternoon, Emma decides to visit the university library to prepare for her next class. As she walks in, she is amazed. The library is vast, with rows and rows of books, large windows, and students quietly reading or typing on their laptops. She spots a librarian and decides to ask for help. "Excuse me, can you help me find a book?" she asks politely. The librarian smiles. "Of course. What book are you looking for?" Emma takes out her notebook. It's called Introduction to British History by Dr. Lewis. The librarian types on the computer. "Ah, here it is. It's on the second floor in section B." Emma thanks the librarian and heads upstairs. She grabs the book and settles at a quiet table. As she starts reading, she hears a voice. "Hey, you're in my history class, right?" Emma looks up. It's a student from her lecture. "Oh yes. I'm Emma." "Nice to meet you, Emma. I'm Jack." He sits down next to her. "Studying for next week's seminar?" Emma nods. "Yes, I want to be prepared. I'm still getting used to everything here." Jack smiles. "You'll do great. If you ever need help, let me know." Emma feels happy. She meets new people and learns every day, and even though it's challenging, she knows she is growing. As she flips through her book, she comes across some new words. She writes them down and looks up their meanings. Later in the afternoon, Emma decides to go grocery shopping. She walks into a supermarket, but soon realizes that many product names are different from what she's used to in Spain. She picks up a vegetable and wonders, is this an eggplant or something else? She approaches a shop assistant. "Excuse me, what is this called?" she asks. The shop assistant smiles. "That's an aubergine." Emma is surprised. "Oh, we call it an eggplant in Spain and the US." The assistant nods. "Understood. Yes, British English has some different names. Like we say courgette instead of zucchini." Emma thanked the assistant and continued shopping, feeling more confident. As Emma continued shopping, she noticed more differences. She saw the biscuits and realized they were what she called a sign that said biscuits. She realized they were what she called cookies. She picked up a packet and smiled, learning something new. At the checkout, she heard the cashier ask the person in front of her, "Do you need a carrier bag?" Emma quickly understood that the question meant a plastic or paper bag. Feeling accomplished, she decides to write down all the new words she has learned in her diary when she gets home. At lunchtime, Emma and Olivia sit in the university cafeteria. The room buzzes with conversations, and the smell of different cuisines fills the air. They grab their trays and find a table near the window. As they begin eating, they see Jack, another student from their history class, walking by. Olivia waves him over. "Hey, Jack. Come join us." Jack smiles and sits down with his plate. "So, Emma, what's the biggest difference between Spain and London for you?" Emma thinks for a moment. "The weather. London is so rainy compared to Spain." Jack laughs. "Yeah, you'll need an umbrella with you all the time here." Olivia nods. "And the food? Have you tried any traditional British dishes yet?" Emma shakes her head. "Not yet, but I keep hearing about fish and chips." Jack grins. "Oh, you have to try it. There's a great place near campus." As they eat, the conversation shifts to books. "Do you guys like reading?" Emma asks. Olivia nods excitedly. "Yes. My favorite book is Pride and Prejudice. I love the way Jane Austen writes about society and relationships." Jack smiles. "I'm more into historical books. Right now, I'm reading the history of London. It's fascinating how the city has changed over time." Emma's eyes light up. "That sounds amazing. I love history too. That's one of the reasons I wanted to study in London. There's so much to learn here." Jack nods. "You should visit the British Museum and the Tower of London. They're full of history." Emma takes out her notebook and writes down the names of the places. "I will. Thanks for the recommendations." Emma is assigned her first group project. She's nervous because everyone speaks English so fast. During the meeting, she struggles to keep up. She hesitates but finally says, "Can you explain that again?" Her teammate Sarah smiles. "Of course. Don't worry, we all had trouble at first." Jack adds, "Yeah, it takes time to get used to. Just ask if you need help." As the discussion continued, Emma took notes and started contributing ideas. She learns valuable phrases like, "Could you repeat that, please? I missed that. Can you explain it again? Just to clarify, do you mean?" That's an interesting perspective. What if we also consider? By the end of the meeting, she felt more confident. Her teammates appreciate her input, and she realizes that learning a language is not about being perfect, it's about communicating and growing every day. Over the weekend, Olivia and Emma visit the British Museum. As they step inside, they are amazed by the grand architecture and towering columns. The air smells of old books and polished wood. A guide shares fascinating facts about British history, and Emma learns new words like monarch and artifact. As they explore, Emma is particularly drawn to the Rosetta Stone. She reads about how it helped scholars understand ancient Egyptian writing. Olivia points out the medieval armor section, and they both marvel at the craftsmanship. At the entrance, she hears a visitor ask, "Is this the queue for tickets?" Emma smiles, realizing she's picking up these small but essential details of British English. Outside, the weather is chilly and a drizzle begins. Emma pulls out her umbrella. "Now I feel like I'm in London," she laughs. Outside, the weather is chilly and a drizzle begins. Emma pulls out her umbrella. "Now I feel like I'm in London," she laughs. These small moments make her feel like she's genuinely learning English in a new and immersive way. One evening, Emma finishes a long study session at the library. She checks the time and realizes it's late. She rushes to the bus stop, but just as she arrives, the bus pulls away. She sighs, feeling a little anxious. The streets look different at night, and she isn't sure of the best way to get home. She took a deep breath and reminded herself that she could ask for help. She approaches a passerby. "Excuse me, how can I get to Oxford Street from here?" she asks politely. The person smiles. "You can take the number 25 bus, or if you're in a hurry, the underground is faster." Emma nodded, feeling relieved. "Thank you. Where's the nearest underground station?" The person points down the street. "Just walk straight for 2 blocks, and you'll see the entrance on your right." Emma thanks them and follows the directions. As she reaches the underground station, she buys a ticket and boards the train. She checks the map and listens carefully to the announcements. When she finally reaches her stop, she steps out and smiles. "I did it," she whispers to herself. She is proud of herself for navigating the city alone. Every day, she is learning not only English but also confidence. Language takeaway. Now, let's look at some useful phrases and vocabulary from Emma's story. These are words and expressions you can use when studying, in a library, or when meeting new people. Overwhelming, when something feels like too much. Example: the university felt overwhelming on my first day. Get used to become comfortable with something. Example: at first, British accents were hard to understand, but I got used to them. Keep up, to stay at the same speed or level. Example: the professor babbles, but I'm trying to keep up. Settle in, to become comfortable in a new place. Example: it took me a few weeks to settle in after moving to London. Aisles, the spaces between rows of shelves in a store. Example: she walked down the aisles looking for snacks. Buzzing with conversations, full of lively discussions. Example: the cafe was buzzing with conversations. Passerby, someone who is walking past. Example: a passerby helped me find the right bus stop. Remember, mistakes are just steps toward progress. Keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy the learning process. See you in Emma's next video.